What happens when someone leaves the scene of a serious accident? This courtroom drama will show you exactly how the judge handles it. And trust me, you won't believe what comes next.
Victor Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. 25 CR 301 is called Victor Martinez Jr. Agree with Mr. Nix, your attorney and the state's attorney. Does the defendant? We have a formal reading of the indictment and arraignment here. Can we proceed in summary?
He does, Your Honor.
In summary, this indictment alleges that on or about November 8th, 2024 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the state jail felony of intentionally and knowingly operating a vehicle that was involved in an accident resulting in injury to others, and that you did then and thereafter, knowing the accident had occurred, intentionally and knowingly left the scene of the accident without giving the name, address, registration number of the vehicle you were driving or the name of your motor vehicle liability insured to any person, and without rendering reasonable assistance to the other party when it was apparent that the other party was in need of medical treatment and the accident resulted in serious bodily injury to the other person. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
This is a state jail felony, and that means it carries with it, if convicted, confinement in a state jail for any term of not less than 180 days or more than 2 years. Additionally, you may be assessed a fine not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand? Speak up.
Yes, sir.
The agreement's been reached where you would be sentenced to 2 years in the state jail. That would be suspended. You would be placed on regular probation for 5 years. Restitution is ordered in the amount of $2,932.73 to, I guess, the complainant here.
Yes, sir.
And there will be other terms and conditions of probation which are normal and customary for this type of offense. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to this, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
I show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1. Did you sign that document voluntarily, understand it, discuss it with your attorney? Are the contents all true and correct?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 is tendered into evidence.
No objection.
Without objection, it's submitted. Among other things, this states you were mentally competent to enter your guilty plea, which is freely and voluntarily made. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. You've discussed this with you or with your attorney, and you were guilty of the crime charged and any lesser included offenses. You were giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, and cross-examination of witnesses. And totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All of this is true. It states so help you God. Correct.
Yes, sir.
So speak up. States Exhibit 1, made a part of the record for all purposes. Okay, I'm looking at the probable cause affidavit, which is, again, we have these cases from time to time. Fortunately, not a lot of them, but I've tried a couple in the last year of accidents with injury where the people drove off. One of them, somebody died. Juries are very stern about it. When you have a collision with a vehicle, you have a duty to stop and also to render any aid. And the law was built, it's humanitarian. It's for decency. You don't drive off and leave the people that you hit in this sometimes they may be critically injured or dying and they need immediate first aid, which you are obligated under the law to render, and they could die if you don't when you drive off in a cowardly fashion. You have to, when you make a mistake, you got to fix it by facing up to it and following the rules of decency and the law. So the law built this for just humanity, for decency for another human being. You got to help people when they're in trouble because you caused it, or even when you're in an accident and it's not your fault, you're still required to stop. And if the other person is injured, to render aid. It's one of the most decent legislation, rules, and laws that have been passed. It's wonderful that the legislature thinks that way. Anyway, you just let the people fend for themselves or for other strangers to take care of. And then medical people, when they show up, because sometimes it takes a while. Anyway. Did you have to stay in jail for any length of time? Don't look at him.
How long were you?
Were you in jail for a while?
It was like 2 days.
Okay. Where do you work?
Right now I'm working in Louisiana.
Doing what?
Electrical.
All right. I'm going to follow this agreement. Anything else?
Nothing further.
I'm going to find you are pleading guilty voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this state jail felony of collision involving injury is what it's called. But it's essentially leaving the scene of an accident when you had a duty to render aid if necessary. I am following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the state jail for 2 to 5 years. That is suspended. You were placed on regular probation for 5 years. There's restitution here in this case in the amount of $2,932.73 because I guess it was deemed that you were at fault in the cause of the collision. There will be other terms and conditions of probation, including you must complete defensive driving course. And people sometimes roll their eyes, but I'm going, you're about to get a big discount in your insurance rates when you complete this. So it's a good thing to take, and also you get financially benefited. Another thing, though, you're going to serve 10 days in jail. You just can't walk away from people who need care. That's just not decent to a fellow human being. Do you work during the week?
Yes.
Is it Monday through Friday?
Sometimes Saturday and Sundays.
Well, you're going to have to figure this out. How can you, I'll even let you do weekend time where you come in on or before, on Fridays, on or before 6:00 p.m. and then they let you go at 6 p.m. on Sunday night. You get 2 days, and that means you'd have to do 5 weeks. Can you pull that off?
Yes, I'll talk.
When can you start? Talk to the probation about it, okay? And then it'll begin when you can work. I'll give you a week or so to work your arrangement with your boss. But you got to start within 2 weeks on a Friday.
Yes,
and then each Friday thereafter for 5 successive weeks.
Can we tentatively put Friday in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
The date is, and then if it needs to be amended.
Great.
So
And we're going to put it in there Friday in 2 weeks from this Friday. But if it has to change it, we can modify it. Okay.
April 3rd.
April 3rd. April 3rd.
Yep.
Okay. And
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Justice was served, but this is just one case. If you want to see more jaw-dropping courtroom moments and real-life legal drama, hit that subscribe button now. You won't want to miss the next shocking twist.